Hi guys! So today we're going to be making this broccoli cheddar bacon potato with this bacon cheddar cheese sauce. Alright, so let's get started. So you're not going to need that many ingredients. I used bacon, frozen broccoli, some potatoes, mild cheddar cheese that's shredded, a little bit of butter, some flour, parchment lined sheet tray, and some vegetable oil. Yes, great value. I'm all about the savings. Alright, so you're going to start with preheating your oven at about 350 degrees. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is clean my potatoes. Okay, I first off do this because they come from the ground and from the dirt and they're pretty dirty, and also because we don't know what is really happening in between the time we're getting it from the store and what people are doing before we get them. So I like to just put them in some cold water, rinse them off, and then I like to drain them and wipe them down with a paper towel. That actually just helps, get the rest of the dirt that might be still on it or maybe at the bottom of the bowl. Alright, so I'm going to take my sheet tray and I'm going to put it right in front of me because it just makes it easier for me to work with. And I'm going to open my vegetable oil bottle, and I'm kind of struggling right here to open it up, but nonetheless I got it open. And I'm going to put a nice thin layer of oil at the bottom. This not only helps my potatoes not stick to the parchment, it also is going to help me coat it. Now I put a little bit of kosher salt right on the tray. And then I'm going to just take my potatoes and roll them all around in the oil and in the salt. It doesn't only give it a flavor, it has a little bit of texture to it because it's kosher salt. And kosher salt actually is a little bit bigger than table salt. Okay, now I'm going to pop those right into the oven, and I'm going to cook those for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so I use frozen broccoli. I love frozen vegetables. They're actually picked right at their peak. So I'm actually going to be using that today. I put a little bit of the oil right on top of them, some salt, some pepper, and some garlic powder just to season them up before they go ahead and get roasted. Ingredients there when it comes to my seasonings, they have like 55-cent seasoning, so I love those things. Alright, so I'm going to pop that right under the potatoes, and those are going to cook for about 35 to 45 minutes. Alright, my bacon. I love bacon. It makes everything better. But we're going to take that bacon. This is thick cut bacon from Walmart, the great value version of it. And I'm going to take about 4 pieces. I probably could have done about 5 or 6 because I love bacon, but I did 4. No big deal. I'm just doing some short strips of bacon, cutting them down. And then I'm going to end up cooking them in their own fat and a little bit of vegetable oil. Okay? So here's my pan. I have it preheated. Putting some oil in there. You don't need a lot because bacon produces its own fat, and it's going to be cooking its own fat anyway, so you don't need a lot. Okay? Just put that right in there. I'm going to cook that off until it's nice and crispy. Now that is what it ends up looking like. Okay, now I had some extra bacon fat in the pan, and I decided to use that with a little bit of butter, and I put some flour in there. Okay, we want to make equal parts of fat and flour, which actually makes a roux. That is what basically is going to be thickening our sauce, our cheese sauce. So what we're making here right now, I guess we can call it a bacon bechamel. I'm adding a little bit more flour in there because I want it to be a little bit thicker rather than the runny side that we normally see. Now I didn't mention before, but I am going to use some milk. It depends on how thick you want it to be, but I wanted mine to be a pretty thick sauce, so I added a little bit of milk at a time. I wanted to make sure I got all of those lumps out of there. I don't want to have a lumpy cheese sauce. I wanted to have a nice, even, and smooth cheese sauce. So I added a little bit at a time after I cooked the roux off. And then I'm going to let that milk work its way into the roux work its way into the milk, so that it'll be a nice thick bechamel that I can add my cheese into later. Now you'll see once I start adding the cheddar cheese, you'll start to see it get into that nice and ooey gooey look. It'll be super stretchy, and I love that in a cheese sauce. I want to know there's cheese in there. I want to make sure it's not powder, right? So I'm gonna put maybe a little bit over a cup of cheese in there. I probably would have put more cheese in there if this video wasn't going, just because I love cheese myself. But I'm gonna mix that all together until it's nice and smooth. Alright, so my potatoes came out. Once I started cutting it, I realized that they weren't as done as I want them to be, so I just cut them all the way open and laid them flat and put them back in the oven. I should have just moved this sheet tray off of the stove, but I didn't, and it was moving all around on me. But luckily I only had 2 potatoes to really deal with, so it wasn't that bad. Alright, so I laid them flat like I told you, and I'm putting them right back into the oven. I put it right back 350 for another 15 minutes. My broccoli came out. It's nice and roasted. You see those little bits on it, and that's what I love to see. Alright, so here I actually pulled my potatoes out after that 15-minute time period, and I started smushing the insides with a spoon because I wanted it to be easier to eat when it's come time to eat it, and I wanted to be able to smush my ingredients inside of it too. So I put some of my roasted broccoli right inside of there. I'm going to also add some bacon, and I'm also going to add a little bit more of the shredded cheese, just because it's good. There's no really other reason why I did that. Just because it's good, and it kind of holds all the stuff together, I guess. So I guess we could say that that's the reason for it. Extra cheese just to hold stuff. But I'm gonna pop that right back into the oven for about another 5 to 7 minutes until it is the cheese is kind of gooey, but not too melted. Okay, because I know I was gonna put this hot sauce right back onto it. Okay, so as you can see, there they are. They came out. They're not completely melted, like I said, but everything's already cooked in there. Really, if you wanted to stop right here, you probably could and just eat them that way, but I gotta be extra. So you can see they're kind of gooey and cheesy, so they're perfectly fine right there. Alright, so I got my white plate out. I'm gonna put 2 portions, or really this is our whole dinner, so that was our 1 portion of potatoes, and I'm putting that nice gooey hot sauce right over it. Look at that ooze. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't want to have a dry potato, or you ever get to the part of the potato where it's kind of dry and you're like, I don't really like this anymore. I don't want that. I'm gonna put a little bit of bacon on top. I found some sour cream, so I have some sour cream on top, and I put some chives, that's the garnish, and it tastes pretty good too. Put it right over the plate, and there we go. We have our baked potato that is stuffed with broccoli and cheddar cheese, bacon, and a bacon cheddar sauce. I hope you guys enjoyed this so much. Please let me know if you end up making this, and don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. I hope you guys have a great dinner. Bye.